Hi, this is Eric Tippelt from Coldwell Banker RMR in Cobourg, Ontario. I'm doing a video here on how to find the forms for in Nexone. I'm a new agent and this has been very confusing, so I'm doing this in the hopes that it will help other people get this correct. So the first thing you have to do is sign into Nexone, which I've already done. And I'm on the home screen. You can see here it has your name there. And you can see the main bar up here with listings, client, transaction, email, faxes, and my documents in it. When you do a listing, which is where we're going to start, it makes sense that you're going to click the listing tab. When you actually start getting an offer in, or you've actually got an offer that you're working on, once you hit an offer, you have to switch that paperwork into transactions. That was a little bit confusing for me. So anyways, we're going to go and get a listing. So here's our listing. So we'll click on the listing tab. And it gives you all the different listings. Believe me, they are not all real ones because this is about take 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend this is a brand new listing and we're going to add. So here we are with the add the listing screen. You can see this is a profile of the property, not the client. And your first selection is going to be status. And I'm going to put that pending because hopefully on next business day, the secretary is going to blow all of these pending ones away. You don't have to fill out everything that is here on the form. There's a lot of information, and some of it you won't have when you're first doing a listing. You won't have an MLS number, and I always unclick that. It doesn't always seem to matter. You won't have a contract, but you will probably have an idea of the listing price. You can go back in and you can change all of this. But there's your listing price. So we'll put some figures in here just so that we have something. Hope I don't have too many. I think I have one too many zeros in there. If you're doing a lease, it would be a lease price in here, not a listing price. You do need a contract start date, and you do need a contract end date, and they tell me this works a lot better if it's at least 60 days out. Okay, so that's got that. The property should be in Canada, and it should be in Ontario. Now we're going to pick a city. I'm going to use where we live, and you'll see that they have most cities listed. Just pick it, the actual street address and the street name. And I apologize for the sound of the keys in the background, but there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it. Then we can do the postal code. Okay, and then there's the listing type, and you can see there's a sale, a lease, a buyer, or a builder. So probably most are going to be sales unless you're dealing with a contractor who's building a subdivision, then you might put builder in there. It will also allow you to pick the type of property, and you can see that there is quite a selection. So you should be able to find what it is that you need. The one we're going to select is a 2-story, and it is, we get again a selection, and we're going to go built. Now we're down to the commission section. They have ticked off actual dollars. Most commissions are a percentage, so we're going to have to go back and change that. Then we're going to enter the total commission, which is what you negotiate with your client. And we're going to try for 5. And we're going to be really nice, and we're going to give 2.5 to our cooperating broker. So right now we've filled out everything we need for the profile of the property. So all we have to do is hit next. This is now into the Agents tab. You are automatically assigned as the agent. You don't have to add anything to this page unless you've got another agent that you're working with that's on here. So once again, we're going to hit next. Now we get into the client section. There is no client listed, so we're going to add a client. And let's say it's a husband and wife, and you've got to put both of them on there. You don't have room to do that here, but you can add a second client. You can add a third or a fourth client. Let's say you have a property that has 4 or 5 people on it, so that will work. If you only have the one client and you've added one, you can take that off. And as you can see, we'll just delete that client. So once we have all of our clients added or not, we can pick the salutation. There's only Mr. or Ms. And we'll just pick Mr. for fun. And I'll put my name in there. And we're the seller. You do have a choice for a buyer. Okay. Room for a company name. You need to put in a phone number. And here you do have to put in an email of some sort. And for some reason, if you don't put in an email, it just doesn't want to take it. So here we actually have to pick the country and the province. So we're going to do that. And we'll start off, Brights Grove sounds good. And street number. And there we go. Sunny Street, postal code. We got to stick something in there. That looks good. So once we have all of that in there, we simply click next. Which has now moved us to the next tab on there, which is a note. It's entirely up to you what you decide to put in here. I sometimes put information about the client or the property, that sort of thing. When we've got all of that done, we're ready to save. Now that is sort of the preliminary step to getting everything done. If everything was okay and it likes all the information, you get this nice green check mark and a green box that tells you the information was saved. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put in a mistake, something that it doesn't like. And we'll try save again. And you can see that if you have not completed it the way it likes, it will come up with an error. And it will direct you to where the error is by making it red. So we can simply correct the error and hit save. And we're back to our green information. Okay, so that's ready to go. So now we can go back to listing. And we can grab the one we were working on. And if we want to be sure, we'll just go to the client. Yep, that's it. Okay. So, says pending, sale is pending, 2 or more stories, gives you the address, gives you the agent. You can kind of review some of the stuff up there. There's your commission percentages there. Now, what we really have to do is add some documents, because we're going to need a listing agreement, and we're going to need working with a realtor and some FinTrack stuff. So basically over here, the first heading is the one we're going to use. And be careful with this one, they are 2 separate headings. Okay, so if you want documents, make sure you click on the documents. So this is really kind of nice. It gives you an idea of what documents you're going to need to actually satisfy the listing. You can see the FinTrack and the MLS listing, the data form, showing instructions, working with a realtor. Okay. Now to me this is kind of misleading. It's add documents, so I think intuitively that's where you want to go. But of course that's the wrong spot. So we're going to go over to Launch Nexone Forms. And up comes the Forms page. Now, what threw me off was these come up, and I thought you could actually do something with these. You can't. As a matter of fact, you better get rid of them, so that you've actually got a blank field up here. That will allow you to put in what you need. So the first thing that we're going to put in, and I'm not going to put in everything, I'm going to go 200, which is the form number for a listing agreement. So you can see all the different types of 200 series forms come up. And we're going to pick the first one, which is a listing agreement. That brings it up here, puts it up here in nice and blue, and we're kind of ready to go. Now, because that's there, if we want to go to another form that's outside of 200, we got to get rid of that. The next one I want is working with a realtor, which I happen to know is 810. And I'm going to search 810, and there it is. So again, we click on it, and it shows up here in blue. And if you've made a mistake, you can delete it. You can add as many forms as you need to, or that you want to do at one sitting. From here, to actually get to the forms, we have to hit populate, which brings this up. And what populate means is it's actually going to go out and it's going to gather more data, so that you don't have to look everything up right away, or you don't have to have a list in front of you. Now, you probably don't have an MLS number. You can go on Geo Warehouse for a new listing and find the PIN number. I'm going to put in a PIN number that I know exists. It's going to bring me a bunch of information which I know is false, but for demonstration purposes it's going to work real well. So once we have this in, it's going to basically go to Geo Warehouse and pull all this data. I'm assuming that's where it goes. So now you can see we have the listing agreement. You can see it'll give you a list again of all the forms that you are now working with. It puts all of them on the screen at once, one right after the other, so you don't have to go searching for them. So in the order you've got them, it's where they appear on the screen. So we can close that. Now that the forms are up, we have two choices. We can actually enter data into the form itself. I've found that if you're new, sometimes it's kind of nice if you use the boxes on the outside. So you can see here there's some information in here already, and that basically is what it pulled up when you said populate. So it doesn't give you everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to enter our brokerage name. Helps if we do this right. Okay, and if we hit tab, you'll see it's the same as hitting the enter button. It will enter the information. Tab will also move you down, as tab always does in most software, to the next thing that you need to fill in. So I'll put that name in there. Okay, TA Ontario, and see how we just hit the clicked on it, and it's entered it into the form, and we can put in a telephone number. There we go, and we can hit tab, and we can change the information if we need to, and we can change the address. You kind of see what we're doing there. You can enter from the calendar the commencement date, the expiry date. It's weird, you've already entered that on your one of the first things that you entered, but when you hit populate, it does not grab that. If we put in the listing price and we hit tab, it's really nice. It puts in the numeric value where it's required, but it also puts in the alpha value where it's required. And again, you can go all the way through here, and it will ask you wherever there is something you need to enter. You will see the boxes down the side ready to have information entered. When you're done the one, just come down and fill out the next form. When you're done, you can save it to the file, or you can save it in an editable form. So if we save to file, it should load it into the Nexone system, which it seems to be doing, I hope. I have a really lousy internet connection, so we'll see how long this takes. And when it's finished, it comes back to this screen again, and now you will see that the forms are loaded into Nexone, ready for your broker or someone with authority to read them over and have a look. If you want to get rid of a form, delete it, you can actually click on the minus buttons and they will get rid of it. If you click on it as an editable form, you can come back in and make changes, and those changes will be saved here. We hit save right away, so it will bring it in. If we wanted to make changes to the listing agreement, we can. Then when we hit save, we will have listing agreement, I think bracket number 1. Okay, so what we can do is click on that. There it is, and there's your form. So now, if you're old-fashioned like me and you like actually being in front of the client and using a pen to actually get things done, you can print this off and take it to your client. There you go. That's how you get in there. It's not how you fill out the form or what you need to fill out, but it does show you how to get the forms that you need in Nexone ready to go. Okay? Appreciate your time and your patience. I apologize for the keyboard noises, and I didn't realize I had such a scratchy throat. Anyways, I'm going to do more of these things on filling them out. I will also do one on an actual sale transaction so that you see how to get those forms, and we'll go from there. Okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate your listening. Bye-bye.